we get into the series itself, I want to get into some of the trials and tribulations that you both went through that kind of laid the groundwork for authentically playing these roles. And Jonathan, I'll start with you. You're raised as a believer, and you know, a lot of us are. We just kind of go to church along with our parents, but we're not really buying into it until we have a series of things that happen in our lives. And for you, it happened early on. Age 10, you saw Jesus of Nazareth. How did that affect you?
I watched the miniseries Jesus of Nazareth, and 11 or 12. I was so impacted by the actor who portrayed Jesus then, it was Robert Powell, particularly the crucifixion and the way of the cross, that I was inspired as a kid to go out into my backyard and build my own life-size crucifix and reenact the way of the cross, carrying the cross around my backyard up through the crucifixion. So not your standard fare for a kid in the 6th grade.
No video game.
Yeah, but little did you know, but you went into filmmaking, got a filmmaking degree. Your first acting job was a voice on MTV Celebrity Deathmatch. But then you made that big move to LA, as so many people do. Easier said than done. You struggled.
That's right. I did. For 8 years I struggled, and I balanced a number of different side hustles, catering, rideshare driving, teaching, you name it, I did it, painting houses, and all of a sudden it got to a point where it all dried up over a couple of weeks, and the money that was already nearly depleted went into overdraft mode. I woke up one morning, $80 overdraft and $20 in my pocket, and
this is where that mustard seed faith comes in. So, you know, broke, hungry, and desperate, but not giving up, and so you had your coming to Jesus moment.
The only thing I hadn't done was drop to my knees and just pour my heart out and surrender my will to God's will for me. And when I did that, I experienced a financial miracle that very day, hours after I had poured my heart out. And to me, it was a deeper conversion for me, and a real activation for my faith in a way that it hadn't been before. And then 3 months later, I booked The Chosen.
Yeah, I sat next to Dallas Jenkins at an event he did for HCU recently, and he also spoke of going through those trials and tribulations. You got to speak to the Pope about your role.
I briefly chatted with him a couple of years ago about the role as Jesus, and you know, he basically said to me, "Well, you may you find him, may you imitate him, and may he make you happy." And I strive for that, you know, every day of my life.
Elizabeth, you are a master's in theater, bachelor's in screen studies. You produced, directed award-winning short films. You were on your way, and then you found yourself in a state of depression. Why?
I think I was not centered, and I was chasing so much. I was chasing a sense of purpose, and without really knowing where I was going. I was trying to avoid my depression, and that's something that you sort of live with your whole life. But I found myself really avoiding my emotions, avoiding thinking that maybe art will save me, or being super busy will save me, or alcohol will save me, and found myself numbing myself a lot and staying so busy I couldn't even think.
And you were broke, living with your mom in Austin, about to quit acting, to the point where you told your agent, "Don't even submit me anymore."
Yep. I felt like I needed to grow up and sort of stop chasing this dream, and really kind of choose a different track. And I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do, but I knew that whatever I was doing wasn't working, and it wasn't fulfilling, and I had no real joy or peace in my life. And then I told my agent to stop submitting me. He submitted me to this anyway, thank God. And I read the script, felt so seen by this character, and it was so beautifully written, and felt so connected to her despair that auditioning for it felt like I was just being myself.
Yeah, you know, that's the cool part about it. And I think, you know, in some ways, knowing this background about you all, we see that through the role you play. And by the way, just for clarification's sake, we live in Houston where we have so many different religions. We say Mary Magdalene. This is not Mary, Jesus's mother.
Correct.
That's right.
Yes.
Life changed for the better through this role for both of you. I mean, I would imagine you go in every day and you live out the stories of the Bible. For people who are not familiar with The Chosen, the synopsis set in a first century Israel, but it began as a crowd-funded series, which is innovative.
Yeah, crowdfunded for 4 episodes of our first season, and that's all we were guaranteed. Yeah. And for me, especially, since I hadn't worked in a long time, I was just happy to have any kind of acting work whatsoever, something that wasn't, a side job or, the thing that I felt that I was meant to do. So getting 4 episodes was a gift. And then when we released the trailer for the first 4 episodes being released online, the rest of the money we needed to fund the second half of season 1 came at a fraction of the time it took to raise money for the first 4 episodes. And once we saw the response to the first 4 episodes in that little trailer teaser that was released, we knew that what we thought we were doing when we were filming the first 4 episodes, we knew it was going to translate to the rest of the world. And here we are 4 seasons later.
Global phenomenon. I mean, 200 million viewers, 770 million episode views, 175 countries, translated into over 50 languages.
It is on this rock that I will build my church.
Y sobre esta roca edificaré mi iglesia.
What does that tell you? Because oftentimes people will say in Hollywood, it's like, yeah, I don't know if people really want the biblical stuff. What does it tell you time and time again when these types of series do so well?
I think Hollywood has it wrong. I think Hollywood doesn't realize the depth and the need for this kind of content, but done at a level that is comparable and just as well done as any Hollywood project whatsoever.
It being translated to so many different languages and shown across the world, it's clear that this is a universal story, that people all over the world, not just the Western world, but like everywhere, are relating to it. So I think it's something that kind of goes beyond the system, the Hollywood system of studios and making movies and projects for the box office, for money. Like, this is a story that is also moving people and changing people's hearts.
I was one way, and now I am completely different. And the thing that happened in between was him.
I was talking to Dallas about, how you do some of the filming in Texas. And so when you all are just, in town doing regular things, when people recognize you, do people recognize you as who you are, or do they recognize you in your characters? I mean, because if you're running into Jesus at the grocery store,
you get this all the time.
I look like this off season most of the time because I can't really get rid of it. So people recognize me pretty easily, even if I'm covered up and glasses or whatever. They for some reason they still just know. They're like, oh, So.
Yeah. But they're not trying to touch the hem of your garment or anything. They know you're not Jesus, right?
Depends. Depends on where you go.
All right. Take us into season 4.
Darkness is not the absence of light. It is more uncontrollable and sinister.
It's a challenging season. It's a really painful season. There are a lot of surprising elements to it. We know the story from the Bible, but there are parts of the stories that are surprising and new, and it's sort of this point of no return.
I guess you're not holding back anymore.
I can't.
The stakes are higher, everything escalates so quickly, and we're getting closer to the end.
Yeah, and here's what I love about this is that, sometimes people, when they're saved and become Christians, they think, okay, that means life is just perfect and easy and beautiful. It's not. What this does is gives us the foundation to rest upon to get through those tough times. I want to end with both of you of the responsibility that you feel in playing this role is different than any other kind of role. And have you had people come up to you and say, because of seeing this series, I've been saved?
I've had a lot of people share that they've found so much joy and peace in watching the show, and they've felt recognized and seen by this character of Mary Magdalene. They watch her journey and they're like, that's me. So I think it gives a lot of people a sense of hope about their faith and the future.
A lot of people have come up to me and said that they've either gone back to church or they started going to a church or got into a Bible study. Some people have people know I'm Catholic for a lot of the stuff that I've done outside of The Chosen. People even said I've started to learn about the Catholic Church and I'm going to become Catholic. So it's been a profound variety of expressions and experiences to the show, which has been just wonderful and encouraging and humbling all at the same time.